In the palace of a sorceress, a spell was cast over a mysterious metal to forge a weapon. This metal had been cast into many instruments of death over the centuries, acquiring many names. This sorceress Mab, dark sister of the Lady of the Lake, called it the Frightener, for it was a soul-stealing blade. But in order to use its power, she had to summon a fighter with the darkest of hearts. So Mab gathered the cruelest of men to battle to the death in order to be worthy of wielding it. After much bloodshed and countless slain combatants, only two remained. Bastgard the Brutal, a man with a heart as dark as midnight, and a thirst to see the world burn. Grimhold the Grave, a slave trader that took pleasure in grinding men's hopes to dust. Mab's purpose was to lead both men towards a dreadful reality, where fear reigned supreme, for they had to face their worst fear and overcome it, or have their soul taken. Mab beckoned them to enter the chamber where the sword was kept, if they dared. Grimhold hesitated, as he sensed an evil even more threatening than his own. Bastgard, on the other hand, stood in awe of the unholy force that emanated from within. The blade appeared glorious, but the bodies of fallen men around it told a different tale. Bastgard suddenly had a vision of being a firebrand of destruction with Mab by his side. Grimhold saw an image of isolation in a desolate and unforgiving place. Was this witchcraft seducing them, or was it the blade revealing their worst fear? Grimhold found himself alone and pursued by all those whose lives he destroyed. Mab felt the blade draining his soul as his fear of retribution for his evil deeds overcame him. Bastgard found himself in a world on fire, with Mab as his lover, but he struggled to understand how this could be his worst fear. Then he realized it was the fear of loving someone, of needing someone. He was at a loss for what he must do to conquer this fear, to succeed where others failed. Bastgard now understood the madness that had possessed those who came before him, and the insanity that might befall him if he possessed the Frightener's power. He also shuddered at what might await his soul if it was stolen by the blade. Mab sensed Bastgard also succumbing to his fear, failing the dark test. But just as his soul was about to be claimed by the sword, he discovered the key, the very key that would allow him to be the master of the blade. He would indeed be the vessel the sword used to take souls, and send them into the Undergloom to become Infernal Warriors. But there was one undeniable act that the sword required of him. He first invited Mab to bask in the power of the blade. She thought she had found her champion, and that she would begin an era of complete darkness and despair with him as her enforcer. She would reign as the Queen of Chaos, the Empress of Evil. But little did she know that she would never be the sword's master. Instead, Bastgard would, for he did the one thing that assured it. He made a pact with the entity of the blade, and sacrificed Mab's soul to save himself, thereby eliminating his worst fear, the one thing that could undermine his evil heart, love. Bastgard had passed the wicked test of the sword. He truly had a heart as dark as midnight. But banishing Mab to join the Infernal Warriors in the Undergloom would prove to be an eternal mistake.